Black Ops Declassified for the PS Vita sucks, but life sucks. And the word Vita is Latin for life, so Vita is life. But the Vita is awesome, so maybe that means life is awesome, sometimes at least? Which means Black Ops Declassified is awesome, sometimes at least. Let me explain. I remember when this game was revealed back at E3 2012, my rapidly developing preteen body was unbelievably hyped for this game. I love the Call of Duty series and I love the PlayStation Vita. It was a match made in heaven. All we got from the time this game was announced to its release was a very short trailer with little gameplay. Nobody really knew what we were getting with this game. Sony desperately needed this game to be good. The PS Vita sales were lacking, and the only first-person shooter on the system at the time was the mediocre and underwhelming Resistance Burning Skies. A solid Call of Duty exclusive to the Vita was Sony's best shot at reviving the dying handheld. Sony even made a Declassified bundle with the Vita. This game could have been huge. They really screwed the pooch on this one. The developers of Black Ops Declassified Nihilistic had a very limited amount of time to make this game. Sony needed it to come out alongside with the console game Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Rushing Black Ops Declassified was the worst mistake Sony could have made. The end product seemed lazy, lacking in content, and rushed. I would have much rather had a watered down port of Black Ops 2 come to the Vita. I know the technical limitations of the PS Vita would have made that tough and may not have even been possible, but just imagine it. It would have been amazing considering Black Ops 2 had the best multiplayer component out of the entire series. Declassified controls okay, the game takes a while to get used to, but once you do it's manageable. The PS Vita analog sticks are just not ideal for first-person shooters. It's hard to be precise with these tiny little things. The aim assist helps a lot. Without it, I don't know how anyone will play this game efficiently. The Vita just doesn't have as many buttons as the DualShock, so concessions had to be made. Knifing, kill streaks, and grenades are delegated to the touchscreen. You don't use these things all too often in gameplay, so I find this control scheme acceptable. Black Ops Declassified looks pretty good, actually. It's no Killzone Mercenary, but the game's still graphically impressive for a PlayStation Vita game. I like the style. This looks like an authentic Black Ops game. Well, admittedly, that is due to all the reused assets from Black Ops used here in Declassified. Seriously, just about everything in this game is taken out of a different Call of Duty game and watered down for the PS Vita. Surprisingly, the frame rate is impressively steady. One downside is the lack of diversity with the character models. There are maybe 5 or 6 enemy character models in the entire game. Everyone is an identical twin with matching outfits. I wish Nihilistic was given the time and resources to make more models. It gets boring shooting the same twin armies over and over again. Declassified's campaign is unfortunately its downfall. The story of this game is meaningless garbage.
Blah blah secret mission, blah blah Agent Woods.
It doesn't even have cutscenes, just these weird voiceovers with maps and pictures. It just seems so lazy. They didn't even try to make a compelling story with this game. They do include Mason and Woods from the Black Ops games in this story, if you even want to call it that, so I guess this game is technically canon for the Black Ops series. The whole campaign can be beaten in less than an hour. There are 10 missions and they're only 2 to 5 minutes long each, but that's if you manage to get through them. The enemy AI makes this campaign a pain to play. They're just plain bad. They often run into walls, corners, and each other. They're also very suicidal. These guys will literally jump into your gunfire just to get a shot off on you. You would think this makes the game easy, but it's actually difficult to deal with enemies who don't care if they live or die. They're too unpredictable, not to mention that they all basically have aimbot. You peek your head out for 1 second and you're getting shot from 278 different angles. If it wasn't for the aggressive snap-on aim assist, this game would be near unplayable. Also, get used to grenade spam, and I mean a lot of it. You'll be dying a lot. This would be easier to take if only the missions had checkpoints. They couldn't even bother adding checkpoints? Are you serious? How hard can it be to add a checkpoint? Dying mere seconds away from completing a level due to some complete horse-arse can be frustrating to say the least. If you're still planning on playing through it for whatever reason, just save yourself the trouble and play the game on Recruit. Also, some of these missions have time limits. These are by far the most stressful and worst missions in the game. If the enemy AI was better, the campaign would be at least worth a playthrough, but with the way it is now, I can't recommend anyone play this part of the game. To sum up my feelings in one sentence, I would rather compete in a wrestling match against Lizzo than play this campaign through again.
Yeah, it's that serious.
I'm sorry for that, I actually really like Lizzo, and that song slaps. She really do be putting the singing single.
Unfortunately, Black Ops Declassified has no zombie mode. The exclusion of zombies hurt this game big time. Zombies is a huge reason for the Black Ops series' popularity, and the mode would have been perfect for handheld play. Hell, they even have Black Ops Zombies on iOS and Android, for God's sakes. It would have been so much better than the Hostiles mode Declassified included. If you somehow find a new copy of Black Ops Declassified, a code for the PSP game Call of Duty Roads to Victory will be included. I feel like a lot of people forget this game was bundled with Declassified, as most new players are buying the game used. The game's nothing to write home about, just a World War II Call of Duty game on the PSP. It's still a good inclusion, and playing this game on the Vita is far superior to playing it on the PSP. The PS Vita upscales PSP games and adds second analog stick support for aiming. I think it's cool that they included this game. They didn't have to, but they did. Hostiles is far from the worst aspect of the game. It's just the survival mode from Modern Warfare games, but watered down with worse AI. There are 5 different Hostiles maps, which are just the multiplayer maps. The game mode sends waves and waves of hostiles at you, and your only objective is to eliminate enemies and stay alive. It's basically zombies with humans. The humans already act like zombies, throwing themselves in mobs in front of gunfire. If Nihilistic was smart or had more time and resources, they could have slapped a zombie skin on the mode, and this would have inevitably led to more sales. I guess I can recommend this mode for some mindless Call of Duty gunplay on the go. Let's end this thing on the best aspect of Declassified, its multiplayer. The game uses modified versions of famous Call of Duty maps. Modified to be smaller, anyway. I'm not upset with this decision. I feel like if Nihilistic tried making their own maps, the outcome would have been far, far worse. Plus, I far prefer smaller maps for Call of Duty games. Call of Duty is all about fast-paced action, and small maps work the best for this playstyle. Unfortunately, the game only has a total of 5 maps. The maps are Shattered, which is based off Black Ops Cracked, Range, which is a smaller version of Black Ops Fire and Range, Rocket, which is inspired by MW3's Dome, Container, also known as Shipment from Modern Warfare, and Nuke House, a smaller version of Nuketown. Yes, you heard me right, they couldn't even fit Nuketown onto this game. Nuketown was too big of a map for Declassified. Shipment is the only map to be included that was unaltered from its original version. I like the maps overall due to their fast-paced nature. It's also cool to see Modern Warfare and Black Ops maps in the same game. 1 minute you're on Shipment, the next you're on Nuketown. Well, sort of Nuketown, Nuke House, I don't know, it's just sort of neat. There are 5 game modes: Team Deathmatch, Free-for-all, Team Tactical, Kill Confirmed, and Drop Zone. Unfortunately, only TDM and Free-for-all lobbies are active as of 2020. TDM is 4v4 while Free-for-all pits 8 players against each other. Yes, these player counts are small, but the maps are sized to fit 4v4 and it works well. Well enough anyways. The class systems and weapons are actually perfect. I was really impressed with this aspect of the game. The class system looks and feels like Call of Duty. There are perks, lethals, secondary weapons, a prestige system. Basically, Declassified as everything and anything you would expect from a console Call of Duty game in 2012. Much like the maps, the weapons are a hodgepodge of popular weapons from Call of Duty Black Ops, as well as the PP90 from MW3 for some reason, I don't even know. Multiplayer plays much better than any other mode simply for the fact that you are going up against actual people rather than the awful AI. The connection is far from perfect. It's often spotty. Also, there's this really annoying reoccurring bug that kicks you out of the game. You can wait minutes for your match to load just to be kicked out immediately before it even begins. I spoke on this in my video on the livelihood of Black Ops Declassified multiplayer in 2020, so if you want my in-depth thoughts on the player base and connection issues, please consider watching my previous video. It'll be linked in the description. The multiplayer is actually a good bit of fun. The game is only around $20 these days, so if you're a Call of Duty fan, I would say pick it up. You don't have much to lose. The multiplayer and Hostiles modes are decent, and it's by far the most active multiplayer game on the Vita. I admit I sort of have a soft spot for this game. It's nostalgic for me. I got this game when I was 12 and I really grew up with it. I haven't played it in the last few years, but it was always my go-to on the Vita, just if I wanted to pick up something and play in the background or whatever. Just throw on some multiplayer, watching The Office or something. This is really what the game's meant for. It's not Modern Warfare or Black Ops 2. You really shouldn't expect that out of it. It's just a fun little game. Just buy it for the multiplayer. I'd say it's worth it for $20. Anyways, remember to like and subscribe, and peace.